and welcome back to For Book's Sake. I am your host, Heather Roberts.
Yes, she is. And I am her Girl Friday, Veronica Adams, and we are part of 1852 Media.
That's right. And I think I'm feeling my blonde moment today.
Girl, you are bright and light, and I'm guessing ready for some vibrant color.
Ready to be dyed.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I love that the bottom, I could tone it. I thought about toning it out and
That's what
seeing
I
if
do
I
to
could
mine.
get it to be white, which I totally could do. But I have this gorgeous pastel pink dye waiting to go onto my head. So that's what we're going to do this afternoon.
Nice.
And we're going to do a nice pastel. Well, I hope it's nice. I haven't tried this brand before. So we're going to do a pastel pink and see how it goes. And I have a neon pink, which is like my quintessential color for those.
Pink is my signature color.
It is indeed. And so that's my signature color, and I'm going a little lighter since it's summer and all of that.
Dare I say you are a blush girl, but this time you're doing bashful.
Yes.
To stay completely on brand with the Steel Magnolias reference.
Brand.
Yes.
And on point with it being Rush and all of that time.
Oh my God, I am so ready for Rush Talk to be back.
Are you not watching Rush Talk?
I have not been delivered a single Rush Talk video yet. Has it started? Has it started? What is wrong with my FYP? What?
Today at Bama Rush, today is Sisterhood Day 3. Yeah.
Okay, I kid you not. The family across the street from me, their daughter goes to Bama. She rushed. I can tell you what organization she's a member of. I won't.
Yeah.
But I feel so personally connected.
Oh my
God. Also, I'm living vicariously through these women because, the experience was mine 20 plus years ago and I'm old now. But what is going on with my FYP that I have not seen a single Bama Rush Talk TikTok yet?
I cannot believe it.
I'm going to have to go search it out. Or
go search it out today. You have plenty to catch up on. Tomorrow's prep. They did.
Stop.
Yes. They did 3 days of, for anybody who's now listening to this who doesn't care, my apologies. But they did 3 days of philanthropy. And 2 or 3 days of sisterhood. I think this is third day of sisterhood.
I'm not cut out for big state school Greek life.
No, I could not do it. I could not do it.
That is too much work.
And then that doesn't even, then obviously the convocation, and then there's prep, and then bid day.
Right.
Yeah. But oh my God. Honestly, skip the philanthropy videos because it's just the t-shirt and the introduction to this,
Okay, so maybe now I can get caught up on the good stuff instead of having put up with all of the, that makes a lot of sense.
Because the dresses and stuff are really the fun stuff to watch, right? To see what they're wearing.
I enjoy seeing 18-year-old women who have jewelry that's more expensive than my automobile. There's just something about that makes...
Yeah. There's this one girl who...
We are not the same.
We are not the same. I loved... She wore these shorts and they were sparkly black, and she's more of a curvy girl, and I love that because, oftentimes you're seeing the same sort of, type of person, right?
Yes.
And these shorts looked so amazing on her. I was like, where are those shorts from? And she does say, but I loved them. They were so cute. So it's fun to see, what the new styles and what the young kids are wearing. And she also was, I think it was her, she had $20,000 worth of jewelry on. And I was
naturally
girl.
The Cartier bracelet's $7,500 by itself. So
yeah. I was like, my wedding set isn't even. But
girl, tell me about it. Including my anniversary band and everything, still not that much money, right?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. But it's fun to watch. You need to...
we're old enough, too, that, inflation's a factor here as well, right?
That's true.
I had no idea I was behind.
Yeah. You built that FYP.
I miss everything.
She does miss everything. I don't even know what your FYP is.
I'm the worst when it comes to
what does your FYP consist of? Truly. You built that brick by brick. So
right now, if I'm honest, It's mostly JD Vance hate videos.
Oh, well, that's valid. But I mean, that sound is that's the best
I'm a never Trump guy. I'm a never Trump guy. Yeah.
Literally so good. It's so good. That sound is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like crying at it. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Bring it back to the books, Heather.
Yes.
See, this is why it's fun to record on Fridays, because we're just wild. Like
we are very carefree on a Friday.
We are carefree on a Friday.
Most of the business of the work week is behind us. It's a little easier to just be free spirited and enjoy ourselves. And also, as I understand it, I'm just going to live react to whatever the topic is today.
Yes.
As usual, I'm behind. I have no idea what's been happening in book world.
Oh my gosh.
I have legitimate reasons for that, okay? Like, I have been head down really focused on a very big project this week, and I have not had time to be as connected to social as I sometimes try to be. Yes. And usually fail to be. But
I usually make an effort. This week, you've been otherwise occupied. But no, okay, so here's the deal. Here's what happened. I'll say who it is. We're open and honest. We're all friends here. So Casey McQuiston. I think I'm saying her last name right. Yeah.
Red, white, and royal blue.
Yes. She has a new book coming out called The Pairing. Okay. It is published by St. Martin's Press.
Yes.
And St. Martin's Press is also having other issues because of a controversy that happened earlier. Oh gosh, it's been a while now.
Yeah.
Regarding some racist remarks made by an employee that some didn't feel was handled appropriately.
Right.
So some people are actively boycotting St. Martin's Press. So that's, I guess, I mentioned that to add into a layer onto what is happening.
That's the context.
Yeah, we're adding a piece of context, okay? Yes. But there's more. So there's a PR box that they sent out unsolicited
for Casey.
For Casey.
Okay.
For the pairing. And the PR box itself, cute idea. Okay. Mm-hmm. So because it's
Love
the
pairing.
PR box. Yeah. And because it's the pairing, they tried to include things in the box that would pair with each of your senses. Okay.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so they're like a candle, right? Okay. Like they had different pieces in there that would work for each of your senses. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the items in the box was a personal toy, a
massager, if you will.
Yes.
Stop.
Like a $50 one.
Stop.
It was not a cheap one.
Stop. St. Martin's Press put together a PR box for Casey McQuiston with a vibrator in it.
Yes.
No.
Yes. And they sent it out unsolicited.
No.
Yes.
No.
I hate to tell you so.
What were they thinking?
I don't know. What intern came up with this was like, that's a good idea. Now, if they would have had a sign up and let people know that what was sort of in the box.
The PR box will contain adult materials and is designed for an audience that is 18 and up. Like,
yes,
you may be getting something a little sexy or a little steamy or a little
risque.
Right?
Yeah. Which, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with personal massagers, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
No, of course not.
But to be sent one in the mail.
It's the unsolicited delivery of them to an audience who's not prepared for it. Like,
correct.
My guess is, I've read one of Casey's books. I have not read her entire backlist, but I've read one of her books. And my guess is that she doesn't have a whole lot of pearl clutchers in her readership. But that doesn't mean there are none.
Well, and this was not so much that, like, it was a pearl clutcher per se, but you just don't know the situation of somebody's home. You don't know the situation that people are in.
Like, for real.
You don't know
people's personal beliefs on on exploring your body or touching your body or anything else involved in human sexuality. Like, that is just so presumptuous.
It's yeah. So if they would have had a sign up, so they did have a sign up, but it was for the e-arc. They didn't have the sign up, like,
for the PR box.
Yeah, so they didn't have a sign up for the PR box. That was
they built a list of their own targets. Those just went out to people they identified as proper recipients for the box.
Yes. And so people had no idea that they were receiving this box, had no idea what was in the box. So, like, some people opened it in front of family members, right?
I was just sitting here thinking about how my husband and I unabashedly open our deliveries in front of our 4-year-old. Like, how do I explain that to my preschooler?
And that's sort of the thing, right? That some people found themselves in that situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what would have happened at my house.
And
not that I'm on anybody's PR box list, but like if I had been, I guarantee you my child would have seen that. That's just how I handle my mail.
Right. And not that you're not open with your child, but you should be you as the parent should be the one to choose when to have that conversation with your child.
I feel like that's not an age appropriate topic for him yet. That's just not something like, we're.
And so to be forced sort of into that situation unsolicited, that's the biggest thing here.
That's just a massager. I guess, like there's a way to
you just
avoid crisis, right? But like,
of course,
that's just one slightly uncomfortable and comedic thing that could have happened in the situation. What about people who are in domestic violence situations or people who are in high control religious situations? Like
you hit the nail on the head.
This is so insensitive.
Right.
It's so insensitive.
It's very presumptuous, very insensitive, and that is what is being brought up frequently.
As it should.
Yeah.
It should.
You don't know, like you could be doing your book talk thing, right? Like your spouse or partner who isn't who maybe is supportive of you becoming famous on the internet, but doesn't who wants to control the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
That could very well be the case. And to have this type of situation pop up, it's just not great.
Listen, I have seen my fair share of personal massagers given away in Romance Landia on social media as part of book promotion in the years that we've been doing this. And I have no problem with it when consenting adults who understand what it is they're signing up for to potentially receive are opting in.
100%. Back in the day when I was blogging.
Oh my God, you and the blog.
I did a pairing series.
I loved this.
I did a sex toy pairing series where I paired a book with a sex toy and I reviewed both.
Every once in a while, I will be on Amazon and come across a review that is yours from your blogging days for an old book. And I think about all of that and how fun it was and irreverent and like
great.
I mean, there is an arousing part of reading high heat, spicy romance. Like that's just a thing that happens for a lot of people. So why wouldn't you explore
hitting things?
The personal massager approach to giveaways and reviews and even PR boxes for people who know what they're signing up for.
Right. And I say that because of that series, I started to receive PR boxes from companies.
You invited that.
Yeah, I invited that because of that series.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I would expect to start getting reached out from, different sex toy companies saying, can we send you this, whatever.
Yes.
And I was happy to receive them. I still have an entire box of them downstairs. Like
I don't know why you quit blogging about it, honestly. Like
I guess I could.
I mean, I do. I know why you quit blogging because of conflict of interest for the business. But like beyond that.
I know. It was very fun.
Sex toy blogging didn't have to stop, Heather. You could have like
I know.
The world's biggest collection.
I could. But that makes sense to receive those things unsolicited.
Right.
Because that was what I was doing.
Yes.
But usually you send books unsolicited because they're books and that's totally fine. But this is not that. This is a much more personal thing.
For sure.
And it's not great. So my point of bringing up the other controversy, so they had this other controversy where they were not
there was
sensitive
the
to
racists, the potential racism internally, and then their failure to handle it in a way that was
appropriate.
That some felt was necessary.
Right.
Yeah.
And now there's another instance of them doing something that was inappropriate that some have deemed inappropriate, and yeah.
Yes.
So it's more about the culture of this particular press now and how they are.
Sounds pretty icky to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like that there's an internal corporate culture at St. Martin's that needs to be addressed.
So, I mean, this just goes to show I never love sending out PR boxes unsolicited. I don't, because they're expensive. And when you send them out unsolicited, you have absolutely zero expectation or agreement or understanding or any. You're not, the chance of them posting about it, is not huge.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and also,
unless the box is insane.
Right. Right. And what's the rate of return on the posts that you're going to get? Like who on your list is going to post and actually post in a way that the content is viral on whatever platform it's shared?
Right.
And you have no control over that. What they post, when they post, how often they post, how many posts they make. I mean,
right. So if we are sending out a PR box, I do at least like to, and I've sent out unsolicited PR boxes before. They get meh results.
Yes.
I like to now, send out a thing to everybody who's on my list to say, like, I would like to receive a box. And,
I agree to do some sort of content curation once I receive it.
Like, and would you like this particular box?
Yes.
This is what it is. This is the book it's going to be promoting. Would you be interested in receiving this and posting about this particular book? Because then you get people who are actively interested. Are there still going to be people who don't post? Of course there are, because people are going to people. But for the most part, you're going to get a much higher rate of return of the actual posting.
Right.
So your money is being much better spent.
Sure.
Because they're not cheap. They're really not.
Not if you're going to do them well. I mean, you can toss author copy paperback and a bookmark and a sticker and a pen in a bubble mailer and like be done with it, right?
You could be.
But to really get someone's attention, you have to put together something that looks good enough to be social media fodder, right?
Yes.
Like it needs to be a pretty cardboard box that's branded or decorated in some way. And there's got to be some really good stuff inside that is actually packaged well so that there's a physical response to it just upon opening, right?
We need the aesthetics.
Want to record that, and the aesthetics go on the Instagram and the Reels and the TikTok, and it, I mean, it's a whole thing you have to pursue.
It's a whole package. So when you're doing a PR box like that.
Yep.
And I will say, from the pictures I saw, the St. Martin's box was very pretty.
I have no doubt.
Packaged very well.
They have a great budget for this. It's hard to compete with the kind of money that they have and the relationships they have to procure items too. So like.
And a lot of people are trying to not say the name of the author. I mean, I did say who it was because I feel like it's relevant for the book and what was in the box.
Well,
but there's no evidence.
Coming for Casey here. No. Like this is not personal. Like this is something her representatives did on her behalf.
That's what I'm saying. There's no evidence that Casey knew what was happening and likely didn't know what was happening in the box. So yeah, it's a thing. It's blowing up on the ticking talk, and
well, like Bama Rush talk, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, you will see it now that we're talking about it.
So full disclosure, it's Tim Walz. Okay, I'm a Midwesterner, right?
Yeah,
and I left the Midwest 20 years ago, and I just came back a couple years ago, and I'm like reclaiming my culture, and I'm in love with this man and his inability to tolerate anything more than black pepper and mayonnaise. Like he is my people, okay?
It's so true.
So I'm just on Tim Walz talk and like anti-JD Vance talk now.
You are in the Midwest, so that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I'm indeed like my IP address track. Like, so what I'm getting fed by the algorithm is just all
Midwesty stuff. Yeah,
Coach Walz.
totally makes sense. Yeah. Totally makes sense. We gotta branch you out though. Get you on a couple different.
I'm just gonna have to go do some searching for some content and tell TikTok I want to see more of it because I am missing out big time.
You really are. You really are.
Oh my
gosh. So I can send you a few too.
Please.
So that you can
help me correct my FYP.
Yeah, correct your FYP and get on some more fun, lighthearted pieces of Americana.
Yeah.
So
less controversial controversy.
Yes, less controversial controversy. Oh my God. Yeah, this is your tip of the day is do not send out a PR box with a personal massager in it.
Yeah.
Unsolicited.
For sure.
And
or anything adult content related, right? Like not safe for work character art. I have seen some steamy like almost embarrassingly graphic illustrations and stuff, right? Like, and they're super hot. You probably ought to warn people they're going to get stuff that's like,
yes,
rated R or even X in some cases. Like,
correct.
Let people know what you're throwing at them.
I mean, it's like sending, an X, if you're doing something like that, it's like sending an X-rated movie in the mail to somebody and unsolicited. Like
I'm having a constitutional law nerd moment now. I'm like, oh, the entire line of cases about obscenity and
yeah. And also, yeah. And we're trying in the climate in which we live, in the context in which we live, do we really want to listen? We understand that these books sometimes can be arousing.
Yes, of course.
And
there's adult material in most of them.
There's adult material in most of them. But the books themselves are not porn.
Right.
And we have had this sort of conversation. I could do a dissertation on this topic about the different types of genres of romance books. And when you do something like this unsolicited, you are now brushing up, and it gets traction because it's wild, right? You're now brushing the entire genre with a brush of that the entire genre is porn.
Right.
Which it is not, nor is Casey's book porn.
Right.
And, I don't think there's nothing wrong with having a personal massager in the box.
Sure.
It's the solicitation portion of it. Yeah. And I'm sure it's actually a very nice one. Like, it was a $50 one. Like, it was not a cheap, $10 piece. Like,
right.
This is like a nice thing. So wouldn't you want the people who are receiving it to want it?
Appreciate it. Yeah.
And appreciate it?
To not be offended by it or caught off guard by it or put in a very awkward or troublesome situation over receiving it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just worry about I'm constantly worried about, and I go back and forth on this because you hear me say one thing and then another, and like I go back and forth. I'm constantly worried about in the state of our culture and our society about future laws that could come into play that
100%.
Would really affect the romance industry, my job, your job, everybody who listens to this job.
We are currently in a culture war that's threatening romance novelists and fiction authors in general, really, and everyone who works to support them.
So it worries me greatly when these things get blown up and people do stupid shit like this.
Yeah.
And then that's just more, I guess my point is that's more fodder for them to come and say like, oh, well, look how terrible this is. And you guys didn't even agree with this. Well, we didn't agree with it for a very specific reason because it was unsolicited. Yeah. We believe in consent here. And that's the problem. This all comes back to consent.
Yes, absolutely.
This all comes back to consent, which did not exist in this scenario.
Right. And a lack of sensitivity too. I mean, consent being the most important thing, of course. Like, I don't want to receive a PR box that has anything in it that's going to offend me or cause me trouble or the risk of harm, right?
Right.
there's just no way anybody at St. Martin's could screen their recipients list to be sure that there's not some sort of religious or cultural or domestic or just personal situation that including something like this is going to exacerbate or aggravate or press on in a negative way, right? So
that's why the consent is so necessary.
Yes, of course.
So necessary.
Of course.
That is the wildest thing that has happened this week.
The steaming hot tea this week, huh?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, PR boxes are great. I love PR
them.
boxes.
When done well.
Yeah.
And, in a targeted way, absolutely. Everybody's consenting to receiving the material inside.
Yeah. And if you want to send out unsolicited boxes, great. Just make sure that it's, generic stuff that people aren't going to be shocked at when they open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just a book and a bookmark.
Is it safe to presume that people who want to receive a box with a romance novel in it are probably a little more open-minded or maybe not in particularly sensitive situations? Sure, but that's still an assumption.
That's an assumption. Yeah.
You know what assuming does. So
it doesn't.
There are exceptions to every rule.
Even if it's not in a dangerous situation, it's, potentially an uncomfortable situation.
For
like
sure.
One girl opened it in front of her mother and, they're not a very open, this would be like in my situation, my mother and I don't have those conversations.
Yeah. Okay? Like for real.
My mother, I am very open. My mother is not very open. So if I were to open a box like that in front of my mother, she would,
your poor mom would have a heart attack.
Right. Exactly. So it just
if Pearl's scandalized, your poor mother, that would make her so uncomfortable.
It would make her so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't care, right? But it would make her so uncomfortable. So it put this particular reader that I saw in a very uncomfortable situation where she and her home situation would have no problem receiving that. But she did not know what was in the box when she opened the box. So she did not know to not open it in front of other people.
Right.
So that would make an uncomfortable situation. So let's not set people up for failure here. That's the thing.
For sure. Well, and that's just it. Like how good is the content going to be if you've scandalized people, right? Like, or if you've offended someone, or if you've caused them to experience distress or hurt or abuse at the hands of someone in their household or someone that they're connected to, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're definitely not going to get the PR you were looking for.
Yeah, this is not the look. It's not it.
No.
So be mindful in your marketing.
Yeah.
You're not getting that on your TikTok either.
If you want to give away a personal massager, just tell people that's what you're giving away before you send it to them. Goodness gracious.
You're not getting the demure. It's not very demure. It's not mindful.
I know that sound, but I don't know what's going. Yes, of course. But I don't know what's going on Bama Rush Talk or Book Talk right now, apparently.
Well,
I just fell out of a coconut tree.
to say that sound, St. Martin's Press wasn't very mindful.
No.
Not demure, not cutesy.
Demure. That's right.
Be mindful in your marketing, okay? Be mindful.
You can still be loud. You can still be ostentatious. You just need to do it in a way that...
You can still send out a sex toy if you want. Yeah, you can still send out a sex toy if you want. There is a line of people who would be thrilled to receive a PR box with a sex toy in it.
Those readers and promoters and influencers are absolutely out there. They're enthusiastic. They're ready to go. Get them on your team tomorrow.
100%. But tell them what's in it.
Don't blindside people.
Don't blindside people
in controlling and abusive situations with something that's going to get them in trouble.
Right. And on that note, we will see you next time.